Good evening, good evening. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Hopefully everything looks like it's set up correctly. Busy day, busy week. See quite a few people in already. We're going to talk about literally motivation today. I'm going to give some conversation on that. We're going to talk a little bit about the differences from a regular job versus this. Why there should be more motivation into something like this than anything else, I think, is a good topic to cover. Right now, I got a lot of people saying they're lacking motivation, post office issues, and all that sort of thing. A lot of people are still upset about managed payments, fee breakdown structures, and things like that. Typical things. Any business you work in, anything you do, you're going to have changes constantly. Technology changes in and of itself. So something I used 2 years ago for my laptop or something, or one of the other laptops I'm using, I may not use it anymore. Apps change, apps update, new features are added. So I'm just going to roll with the punches, and that's literally what you need to do to be successful, obviously. But motivation is the driving factor, I guess, for everything. Let's see who's here for the beginning, and then we're going to dive into this aspect of it. Hopefully everybody knows C. Oh, that's great. Let me fix that. That should solve the problem. Sorry, completely apologize. I've moved some things around in here trying to do some other features, and I guess I need to change one more thing on here. I know you can still have heard me, so unfortunately you couldn't quite see it. So I've been working on a lot of technical stuff behind the scenes. I did switch over to another laptop, so I've got a couple laptops open right now as well. So anyway, podcast time. Yeah, I'm glad I cut over to Look here because I don't want to bore everybody here either. I know it's the content. I'm not trying to push myself on anybody, but anyway. I know I saw Duncan in the house. How are you doing, Duncan? Right behind. Yep, international sales. I'm going to be talking about that in another video coming up really, really shortly here with eBay's new shipping international. If you want to improve your sales, the international way can do that. We're going to go into some other international things. I do business with I would say it's probably one of the biggest toys companies in Europe I've been dealing with for a couple of years. We're going to talk about that in a specific video, and I'm going to show you things from their site that we have, just to give you some ideas too on another video. A lot of people aren't aware that I'm heavy into some old toys and things like that, and we do collect. I do work on some of our own things, which we've been going back and forth. I have stuff done, but we're actually trying to get a licensing agreement going. I've talked about some contracts. I've got a few contracts now and things like that. So anyway, I'm going to be expanding off on some of those shortly, but Kathy right down below. Oh, I hope everything's okay there, Kathy. We've been tested twice now, so completely get it. I took the wife to the eye doctor, and they went through a whole bunch of stuff just to get in there. And then they also did a forehead test for temperature and all that other kind of stuff just to come in the building. But I'm fine. I don't care if I got to do that. It doesn't matter. I'd rather be safe than sorry. Applebee's Attic Treasures. Can you comment regarding the new lower shipping rates for trading cards? Now, I actually have a video discussing that. E-commerce Bites. Ina is the one of the owners of that site. They are a blog post, and that was literally where I first found out about it. I actually even have an article published on there. I have another one out this month on E-commerce Bites. Really trying to get around the show, but anyway, keep an eye out on places like that. E-commerce Bites is, again, where I find a lot of this information. That was leaked. As I said, I do have a video talking about it. That information was leaked by accident. From what I understand, and I have looked into it, it's going to be just baseball cards as of right now. There'll be some thickness, some size, and the whole works on that regard of it. Now, I haven't seen the actual breakdown on the fee breakdown on it, but somebody has sent me one, and then somebody else was telling me that it's up to 3 ounces, which doesn't sound legit because a postage stamp is only 1 ounce for anybody who knows how that all works. So I was under the impression that it's 75 cents, which would, again, only be 1 ounce package at a specific envelope size. This is supposed to be for a white envelope. That's the breakdown on this. There are some, and if you don't know, if you haven't sold postcards or any type of paper off of eBay, there are services you can get where you spend like 15 cents for like a tracking. And now it's not official. eBay doesn't accept it, but there are other services. And I think, truthfully, that's kind of what the post office is trying to offer. Anything that has that label on it with their barcodes goes through a system at the post office. I've had people send me pictures of even the scanners that work in the buildings lately. So those scanners can scan anything that goes through it. There's no sense in them not being able to do it. Now, they got to scan them all. That's the point. And I know a lot of packages right now. I've had like 5 people either open up a case or something on items not being delivered just this week, which, you know, I'm fine. It's all handling just fine. I'm doing the proper procedures, discussing it, letting them know, and the whole works. And whether they open the case or not, I'm fine. I'm not upset about the issue. And the first 3 have already closed before I even had to worry about it again. I open up the case, it gives me a week, and then I can go from there. So anyway, I'm not discouraged by some of these things going on, just FYI. But they're going to roll it out soft roll is what I read. And from that, meaning that they'll just start off with one specific category, and it's going to be sports cards. I would almost rest assured you that they will roll it out to somewhere. Again, I can't, who knows what eBay is going to do, but it would be completely pointless for them not to roll it out as well to postcards as well as some of the other labels that are out there. Again, there's a thickness consideration on it as well. Hang on, I think my screen has locked up. Let me reload the page here. I may lose chat for just a second here. But when they've done this stuff before, when they started off with like one category, they've usually rolled it out to a bunch. They usually try it and make sure there aren't people ripping them off and all of that sort of thing. Now with this one here, if it's over a certain thickness, it won't go through the machines, and you're going to get caught every time you use that feature, would be my honest and sincere guess. So I wouldn't try to deceive them. Part of the reason why there's fees on shipping and all these other sorts of things is because of all the people that violated the rules and sent stuff out how they weren't supposed to, and all of that sort of thing as well. It looks like I just lost internet for just a second here. Hang on just a second here. 1 second here. Let me... Yeah, I think I got an extension out of date. Yeah, hang on here. If I lose feed, it might go off for a few minutes here. Yeah. Hang on, I may not have connection. Yeah, I live out kind of in the country, so my connection isn't the greatest. So let's see if I can't view it on another laptop. Let me kill that right there. Yeah, my chat's totally down. So give me just a second here and see if I can't reload that. Sorry, folks. I know this is a little inconvenient. But with the rollouts, let's just go back and finish that topic there. With the rollouts, as I said, every time they have expanded it. With managed payments, they started small. With some of the other options like the global shipping program, they started in other countries, smaller markets like Australia. Duncan, Kathy, they're Aussie, they're from Australia. They use that as a test market because the eBay in itself in Australia is its own platform. And that platform is in a closed environment, so they can test it like it's a big country like here and see how it handles across the board. That's what I've noticed with a lot as well, too. I've had many folks in England share some information on some of the other things like this that they tried out over there first, and then they rolled it out over here. So I do keep in touch with people from other countries, and we do exchange stuff like this to see what's going on. eBay doesn't openly say, hey, they're testing it over here to introduce it to us, in the US, but that is what the case is. So just FYI, I think I've almost made it to a chat screen. Just one more second here. There's always something that seems to happen in this day and age with all of the tech But I think I actually got it opened with a chat opened. Let's go into the motivation while this is going on. Let's just talk about personal experiences in reselling versus normal life. And I say normal life because for most people, they're not able to have the free time and do this. You're working for somebody else, as I did for the majority of my life. You don't have job security anymore. And I realized that, probably when we had our first child. I was literally on working at a place. I had not taken vacation or anything for 2 years. And the wife was on maternity leave. We both worked together there, and she delivered our first son. And I took all my time off together to have 4 weeks off. And just before I'm calling to get my schedule for my week coming back in like 6 more days, they decided to go a different route with the whole place and laid everybody off. And this is something they knew well ahead of time and told other people, but, they waited. So it put us in a bind with a new baby, I mean, obviously I could get unemployment and all, but the point is nothing is secure. Now I move up here to Ohio from Mississippi after working there. My store was shut down in Mississippi. They closed down an entire region, not just my store, but all of the stores where I was working at there. Nothing I could do. I was hitting my numbers, but the region itself is based together. If they close down like 4 stores, there's no regional anymore. It's too far from the other stores. They shut the region down. It's something that happens occasionally. So again, I've been in many spots because of me working for somebody else and not being in control of, I guess you could say, literally my own destiny. Whether it be good destiny or bad destiny, I'm in charge of it, at least in how I am right now. So those are just a couple examples. I was a restaurant manager for many years. Up here, I applied my first spot. I was a regional just before this, so I applied for I think it was Logan's Steakhouse, if I'm not mistaken, or Lone Star Steakhouse, that's the name of it. And I was offered a spot, and I already had a couple other offers, and I had interviewed, and I was waiting for a regional spot. I had an interview coming up for a regional spot, so I told them I couldn't answer right this minute, and before I could get back, they did offer to somebody else, which was fine, because I already had something else. But had I taken that one, it closed down 4 months after I would have taken the offer. So you do 3 months of training. I'd have been home or away from home for 3 straight months training to run that restaurant, learn their menus and concepts. Every restaurant does 3 months training for a RN or a district assistant, general manager. Any of those spots, it's a 3-month training, usually out of town. They don't want you training the same market you work in. So you'll spend weeks on end in hotels and stuff. But I would have just got out of training, been in the store for a month. They would have shut it down. I would have been forced to either go somewhere else or been out of job. And this has been, I know too many friends that have worked for somebody. Even my brother worked for somebody for years and years and years and years. And out of nowhere, they closed his department down and went it all digital and shopped it overseas. And then boom, after all this time, you've got someone more older than me, throwing out into the job market, which isn't great for someone that's older, regardless of your credentials in my book. He's a computer engineer and the whole works too. So there is no job security. I think that's a big push for me to want to do this, knowing that even if I wanted to hop back into that area and work for somebody else, there's no job security. There's no loyalty to me specifically. There's no tie with the company that they would ever worry about you just cutting you off at any point if they didn't like you or they weren't happy with something. And it happens all the time. So this is the way around it in my book. Now, it may not seem like job security to those just starting off. It was very rough for us for 3 years of our life, just getting into this and trying to get this all to work, where we lived paycheck, well, not literally sale to sale. A sale came in and, oh, wow, we got some food to eat that night. It has been that tough in the past. The motivation is that it's working. We've put the time in, and I know at this point that there isn't much that can knock us off, our stream, our revenue sources. Now we've got many of them. I don't just rely on one person I'm working for to hope. And again, pandemic wise, most of the people I know who, have a traditional job aren't working or have had drastic cuts in hours and aren't making much money. All around, I'm sorry, my dog was just over here a little while ago. All around, this has alleviated so much of that whole entire issue for us. I don't know what else would be more motivational than knowing that you can make whatever of reselling you want if you honestly, sincerely are motivated enough to dig into it. It's going to take digging into this, really putting your feet down and getting dirty and grimy and just sweat equity into this to get it to a sustainable routine volume that's increasing. Most people are able to get it to like a certain plateau. You're always going to hit a spot, at least everybody I know that's doing this as a single person or something, where you can only go so far, or you can only source so much through the traditional means you're doing right now. You're going to have to break out of that mold. Every time I hit a mark like that, that's another motivational factor. I like the challenge. I like trying to figure out how this works, how that works. I'm not trying to blow my own whistle. I'm not trying to do that at all. But when I worked for Pilot. Pilot's a truck stop place. I ran a Pilot. Millions of dollars went through that place in a week. It was just a phenomenal amount of cash for that type of business. And the computer systems were old. It was hard to understand. I had to know it. I spent hours when I didn't have to just trying to figure out how it all worked. That's the type of effort you need. You need to just sit there until you're aggravated or you figure it out. I like to dig into stuff. So for me, that is a motivation. It's a motivation to be able to get past whatever thing is thrown in front of me and to keep advancing. We've been hit by this or that. I've had claims for an intellectual property from even the Richard Pryor's estate, the comedian, and other things. And there's, Disney has sent us something the other day, and the stuff happens. You just got to figure out how to work around it and keep on moving with what you're doing. Motivation for anybody should be the freedom aspect of this. I'm not interested. Well, I shouldn't say I'm not interested, but I don't really care if I'm ever a millionaire. Honestly, I really don't. I don't care. I'm not going to go out and buy some fancy car. I'm not going to go out and buy a mansion. I just want something that I'm comfortable with, that makes me happy. And if that's out in the country somewhere with a bunch of land, that's where it would be. On some place where we'd have trails and all that kind of stuff. I don't care about all the rest, truthfully. It doesn't make me happy. Money doesn't make me happy. The time, the freedom, being able to do what I want makes me happy. Money only does so much for you. You can't take it with you, and that's literally how I feel. The health and well-being of my family, who I take care of, who my time I have the time to actually spend with, is what really and honestly matters. Again, I talked about working for somebody else. Now, why is that important? Because I lost 20 years of my life with my family because I was working for other people who could care less if they shut something down, and I had nothing. Now, when I was working for a few of the companies, I've had opportunities. They did offer me a job an hour from my house one way, and it just wasn't, so it wasn't like I was just booted every spot. But the idea that you never know what's going to happen tomorrow is the factor. I know what's going to happen with what I'm doing tomorrow. I know what I plan on doing next year doing this. I know, motivationally wise, that this has given my kids the best life I've ever been able to give my kids, my family, my wife, with what I do now. And that's far more important in my personal feelings, my mind. To me, that's calming, that alleviates stress to me, knowing that they're taken care of. And I'm able to do it in my own way, my own time frame, my own anything. Even if you want to work extra time at a place and get some extra hours, they don't let you do that because it's overtime. It costs them more money. Here, if I want to work more time and get something more out of it, I just put more hours in. If I need to do something in the morning and give my kids, the evening or whatever we're going to do, movie night, I can do that. I just do my own schedule. I don't have to do, I used to do hundreds of schedules, and the last place I worked, I had 127 people under me, and I had to schedule for all of those, and then schedule the assistants under me, and it gets to be a nightmare with all the requests. So trust me, it's nice to be able to set your own schedule. Again, this is all motivational for me, just like investing most of my time into listing stuff these days. I'm just slamming it. If it's not trying to show somebody how to do something, or doing, videos and stuff, I'm sinking in. I don't watch TV. I don't do much. When I get up, I'm working, or it's family time. That's it. That is it. And again, I'm not killing myself. I'm not working myself to death at all. I like what I do. I am honestly motivated to get up every day in the morning. I never was my last 4 or 5 years working for people. I hated getting up. I had awful hours. Sometimes I'd have to be there at 4 a.m. for a truck, and employees don't show up, and it just on and on and on and on and on. I've seen stabbings in a restaurant I worked in. One was a cop stabbing, and I had a manager stabbed because he was dating a girl in there, and another guy was dating the same girl, and I've seen it all. We've been robbed. I've had bottles thrown at my head. I've had windows smashed up in my car. I've had tires slashed from disgruntled workers. I've been threatened. Do you name it? I worked in D.C. during 9/11. I've been stuck on the roads for hours. We've seen it all. I've been all over the place and stuff. And, it's motivation enough to me to say, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to be away. I don't want to have to worry about training meeting here for 2 weeks straight in another state, and I can't get home, and you're stuck, and something happens. We had a new refrigerator. I know this doesn't sound like it's as much, but I'm out of town. The wife didn't have any. Our car was broken down, and I think I had to leave my car. My car was at the airport, so she had no transportation. Our refrigerator went out. This brand new double door refrigerator, and nothing I could do. All the food spoiled, and it put the wife in a bind. It's that kind of thing that you can't just drop what you're doing. I just don't. The people who don't get this, the ones who say eBay's too hard, I guess you just haven't been around. I've watched people die in front of me working at Disney World. True stories. I've watched employee cream when I worked at Secret Lake Resort on West 192. You can look it up. It used to be a Destiny RV resort. One of our housekeepers was driving on a golf cart and creamed an elderly couple walking across the street. I was the first one on the scene. The housekeeper was screaming frantic. People were screaming all over. The golf cart was laying sideways. It was all messed up. I even hate to describe it, but the lady's leg was compound fractured. They were both unconscious. There was just blood. It was the worst thing I've seen out in a big, huge area like that in my life. That's the kind of thing. I had to go to the hospital and escort them. I had to call the family in England. These folks were here visiting from England. I called their family to tell them that there was a horrible accident. I mean, I've had to deal with stuff like this. At that same place, 2 people passed away in the resort. There was a lot of retirement people. I was, again, the first one to the scene for the first one that happened. True story, the wife was working there. I can give you hundreds of examples and stuff and newspaper articles to show this, but this happened in Kissimmee, Florida. And this one, I was the first one to the scene. The wife was just screaming. She didn't realize he was dead. He was blue as can be. And this is the things that I dealt with as a manager at a resort like that. I've watched, somebody who worked for me at Eckerd's was pistol whipped on, a Lee Road in Orlando, Florida. That's the Eckerd. Was it Eckerd's? Yeah, it was Eckerd's. Lee Road in Orlando, Florida. Pistol whipped, and that was the 7th robbery in that store. It was the only 24-hour store in Orlando at that time. I've been in robberies. I've got the surveillance video of me getting into it with people and chasing people out and getting in. I mean, just stuff like that. I mean, that's the kind of thing that I'm used to. I was sent in to clean up restaurants in the past. That's the thing that's a headache. That's the thing my wife worried about, and stuff. When a window's busted out or something. That's what my life has been. And that's what anybody probably out there who has worked across the country or done regional or general managers, or even assistant managers in almost any brick and mortar in this country. You got to deal with shoplifting and stashing. Just the amount of stuff you deal with is horrendous. All of that is gone. I mean, I don't know. I hired security. I ran an Applebee's in Meridian, Mississippi. I had to hire There were 2 twins in the Meridian police force in there. And I hired them off duty to do security in my restaurant on Friday and Saturday nights. I had to do that because of bottles whizzing past my head and no one wanted to eat there because this is before I came in, of course. But I hired them to clean the place up to help because nothing happened after that. It solved the problem, but... that's what I'm used to. I don't know any other motivation than being in the real world, in the dirt and the grime, and You know, I clean grease traps, I've cleaned toilets, I've done it all. I don't care, whatever it takes to get the job done. This is more motivational to me, knowing how horrible it was to be away from my family. I didn't see first steps, first words, stuff like that. When you go to a different job, you're away for 3 months for many of these, and it's just a bad life. You're working 60 hours, 70 hours for somebody else. At the end of the day, I've got nothing really to show for it. I didn't have a bank account after it. And when I did, I couldn't spend it because I worked all the time, safety wise, sniper shootings in DC, we were there for that, 9/11, the blow dart incidents in downtown DC, all that stuff, I've been all over the place, and it's just, this is more motivational to get away from all of that headache. And when people complain about their fees or this or that, try running a brick and mortar. Try paying the bills in a building that cost $750,000 just to build. Just pay the electricity 1 month. Just pay the phone, the internet connections, the light bill for your billboard down the street. All of that stuff came out of my funds. All that stuff I was responsible for. There's no comparison to and again, I'm going to say this, and I know I'll get some hate, but it's a small fee you pay eBay compared to everything else. Even if I set up at a flea market, which I did Mount Dora flea market. I did Renninger's in Florida. I was a vendor at those places. I even did the flea market in St. Cloud twice, or maybe 3 times actually. I used to be a marketer. I used to set up in antique malls, in Meridian, and in other cities, in Central Florida, Winter Garden, and out there. So again, I've been around. I've done estate sales as the person running them with somebody else before. I've bought out businesses and stuff. This is the only chance I've ever had where I've been completely at my own accord. I can do whatever I want with it, however I want. If I fail, it's my own fault. I don't have to listen to anybody. The motivation is there if you want it, I guess. For me, that's the motivation. My family. I feed my kids. I put a roof over their head. I'm not trying to be on a soapbox here. I'm not trying to be high and mighty, but this is a new year. For those who think this is too hard, or there's just too much of eBay, or this or that, or things are changing, it's just not accurate compared to the real world of brick and mortar in your own business. I couldn't do any of this in brick and mortar. I wouldn't have the views. I wouldn't have the traffic. I wouldn't have the opportunities. eBay opening up APIs for the website was the start of this in my book. API is the software, the scripting, the coding that connects your listings to some other site. That's the opportunity you have now. You don't have to just rely on one platform. In this, again, it's expanding at this point. The opportunity should be a good motivation as well. Don't look at like what I'm making. Don't look at what some other resellers making on YouTube here. That's not the point. You should be motivated by what you can get out of this yourself. I'll just give you the information. You take what you want with it, but I wouldn't be here if I wasn't as passionate about what I do, and that's a big difference between what I'm doing and how successful we are and what a lot of people do. If it's just about the money all the time, I don't feel that people that only want that money and greed and money and all that stuff, so all they care about being able to buy an expensive car, or, flaunt your clothing, or a $10,000 watch or whatever, that doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't impress me at all. Those that are wiser and understand and advance stuff and get their business growing, that's what's important. Doing it for your own self, not necessarily for status symbol. It's not a status symbol at all. And I'm not fancy dresser. I don't wear any jewelry anymore these days at all. I don't wear a watch. I don't care about any of that. It's materialistic stuff to some extent. I know I'm in a materialistic, job, I guess, to some extent, but I like what I do. I'm able to provide things that people actually love. I get awesome responses from people. I'm invested in it enough to spend the extra time for every little step that I do. People think I'm insane for how I wrap packages, even just simple stuff like that. People think I'm insane for going ahead of time and emailing somebody that their package may be running late or something like that. People think that's a waste of time. People think it's a waste of time going over your bills and looking at eBay, stuff like that. even if you don't save a lot of money, it's a practice in business procedures. It's a practice in being a professional business. I had a bunch of criticism on the video on spending time to research your invoices. I had people send me invoices that were like hundreds of dollars off. So, and they didn't know it. So take it how you want. But just because I may have only saved $14 or something on that one invoice, a lot of people saved a lot more than that and had no idea. You need to understand how your business works. You need to be invested in every little step of it and understand every little step. You don't learn it overnight. As long as you're going for that goal and you have motivation to get there, you're going to succeed to some extent. You'll have a great opportunity to at the very basics of that. Let me hop over here and get back. I know I rambled for quite some time. I probably lost. No, I didn't. Thank goodness. Let's go back over here. I think I got to Applebee's attic question. Bob, hey, Mr. Hale, how are you doing? Early birds, yes, the early bird gets the worm, and that's what it is around here for any estate sale, unfortunately. But the House of Mini Trucks, how are you doing this evening? Hey, Aaron, how are you doing? I've got like, I don't know, 30 things on my Instagram that I haven't responded to. I know I have been off on Instagram, and I know there are some messages from some folks on there. I haven't touched it. I've honestly been just busy with all the stuff We've got another business thing that came up that we are going on behind the scenes again. Some of this I'll probably share at some point. I do a lot of other stuff. I talk about action figures we've been working on and toy lines. There's a lot of legal stuff that goes with that. There's a lot of licensing. There's a lot of things that I've got going on behind the scenes. We've got legal advisors these days. I had to hire, or I paid a publicist, and for one initial, and I paid I guess you'd call him a marketer of some sorts, but for other stuff, not related to this side here so much, but there's a lot of stuff that goes on in what you do. But anyway, let me pop down here. I want to get some. Jeffrey D, how are you doing this evening? Penny Day right down below, and Mr. Sanders. All I ever think about is Matrix when I think of Mr. Sanders. How you doing, Rich? Dirt Road Picker, how are you doing? Good evening as well. Let me just go through some questions. We're going to pop back over to that same motivational topic. Thanks, Bob. A lot of people, Bob, have been having issues with motivation and getting moving. Now, I've been bombing a certain category. I've had to take off a few days with some family medical issue here. So I haven't done as much, and if I don't, I cut off TV, and I'm not exaggerating. People tell me, "Hey, did you check this out?" I don't watch any. Don't even ask, because I haven't watched it. There's nothing I watch anymore during any of this time. I may turn on something in the background when I'm finally putting my feet in the bed. That's literally about it. And I usually ain't even watching. It's just sound in the background, just noise, I guess you should say. I'm so motivated at this point just by seeing the possibilities that every minute I got, if I've got time to do something, I'm just going to come down here and list, even if it's only one single item, I'm going to put that one item up. Every little aspect that I do is geared towards getting this rolling as best as I can. I don't want to worry if a recession or anything else comes in. I want to be ready for it. I want to have stuff. I wouldn't buy a new car. I'm not interested in being flashy. I'm not going out and buy fancy clothes. I got a $25 shirt on, maybe. I don't know, whatever it costs, something like that. Only because I was going there taking my kid. I don't care what I wear. I like these shirts because they're comfortable, but, I'm not trying to advertise. It's there. I'd buy the same I'd buy 20 Elvis shirts and just wear the same Elvis shirt every day. If it didn't, everybody wouldn't think I was weird. I don't care. That stuff isn't helping my future at all. What I'm wearing, what I'm driving, it doesn't help me at all. And I'm literally tunnel vision on my business right now. I don't think I've ever been so motivated on anything ever. I can't express that enough, that this has changed every aspect of who I am, what I do, how I do it, my family's life, what I'm able to provide, and it's all from reselling. Whether I'm doing something else because I'm able to have extra money, because reselling has done all of this. You know, I'm not saying everybody's going to be rich. I'm not saying you're going to be a millionaire. If that's what you want to do, this is probably not the business to do it in. Again, I don't want that. I don't care. I've said since probably I've been on YouTube that, you know, I'm not interested in that. Again, I don't do flashy videos. I don't do videos talking about BS. I'm not going to feed you some line and show you a bunch of money and bills, $100 bills, and show you you're going to get rich. I'm not going to promise you anything. There's no promises in this world. None of that's real, real shit in my book. Pardon me, but you know, I'm not interested in any of that BS. I don't care what other people are doing in their videos. I don't watch them. No disrespect to anybody. Dom Primetime Treasure Hunter is probably the only one I've even had a chance to look at. I did look at a video or two of $1 Million Peddlers. I didn't even get to watch the whole thing, but my time these days is, I want to hammer this. I'm going to have 100,000 listings. Anybody who's watching the video right now, I promise you, I'm going to have 100,000 listings. Hopefully by the end of this year is my goal. And I'm at this point, I'm going to do my darndest to try and get to that total. If I don't hit it, I don't hit it. But that's my goal. That's my goal is. I've seen the possibility. I've looked at other people's stores. I've talked to other sellers who have more inventory than I do. Well, at least more listed inventory, I should say. I don't know if we have equal inventory dollar-wise or not, but for those in Patreon, if you look at the video I just posted up today, I've got $865,000 worth of merchandise in the store I share with you. That's just the one store. Anything's possible. I had nothing. I had nothing up when I started this. You know, 10 plus years ago, I had nothing. I had 0 listings. I had nothing. You know, I'm not living off some bizarre, crazy listing items. I'm not, you know, making $1,000 off everything I saw. It's none of that. It's just hard work. It's just a lot of it. And again, motivation is the one thing that, if you get the motivation, if you finally have the drive and have some vision that you can do this, I can promise you, you can take it anywhere if you don't give up. You know, that's why, again, the video I got not dogged. I had a lot of people bothered by the shipping issues on there. No disrespect, you know, everybody has their opinions. You know, I had a couple of people, including somebody who messaged me telling me that was clickbait. I don't think the post office issue and the amount of people who told me that they wanted to give up, no motivation, totally disgruntled with the whole situation. Even on the video that I have, that video talking about it, people told me that they quit. So again, a lot of this stuff is serious. The motivation with the post office, I'm taking that as a challenge. I've had cases opened up. I had 5 just this week, but I've handled every one. I'm not stressed out about any of these because I know where I stand with the issues. Worst case scenario, they know that I can send it out. Worst case scenario, I get a negative. Worst case scenario, that I possibly might not be able to fight, even though technically it shouldn't be. Because again, the feedback's supposed to be on us, not on what somebody else does. If it's geared towards the shipment of the item or how it's delivered or anything else like that, when the post office has it, again, that's not really us. So I don't take it that way on that. I'm terrible on doing this. If you haven't hit the like button, you're honestly liking the conversation, please hit that like button down there. Love to get to that 100 like mark before the end of the show. You know, I'm giving you real. This is really me. This is me. I'm not feeding you some line. I'm not trying to get a bunch of views off of this. I take a lot of grief and hate for being like this, but I don't care. I'm not interested in pleasing or not pleasing. I'm giving you content. And again, I'm motivated for what I do. Anybody who watches me and tells me that I'm not passionate about what I do doesn't understand what passion is, I guess. But let's get back here. We'll hop back and forth in here. I know I ramble a lot, but I'm so into this. I wished everybody had that same thought, because it's motivational seeing the money roll, and it's motivational getting now almost 1,500 listings up in a very short period of time, and just. I mean, we're over $8,500 in those listings I myself listed. That's not counting all the other stuff in the one store I share with you that we're still selling on top of that, you know? It's crazy the opportunities that we have. Hey, Marty, Disney Family 515, good to see you in here. Patreon, again, there is a video I just posted up. It's not super, super long, but I actually had a couple questions on how the heck am I keeping everything organized to be able to photo, list, and then store a massive amount of items like the ones I've been showing you. That video breaks it all down. You go from camera to bagging, storage, and listing all in the same video there. That should help you with that. But contest for those. in Patreon. I'm having an updated spreadsheet will be up tomorrow. Anybody, again, as I said, I think everybody has contacted me who's interested or who wanted to be part of it. Tomorrow to be updated lock sheet. I'll fix all the other issues with it, and we'll keep on rolling with that. I do have a video. It's already up. Actually, I've got quite a few videos ahead right now, so I'm not sure which one I'll upload here on YouTube. But I do have a bunch of videos, some more topics. I've been more detailed on the topics of YouTube videos, if anybody has noticed. I'm trying, I get a lot of more comments these days on functionality to get their business rolling to a certain extent than anything else. So I've got, I don't know, I think I put together 14 topics, and I shot, I think I got 14 shot videos sitting here that I just need. Some of them are already done, but most of them have to be, well, I think 8 have to be edited, but they're already shot. So we're going to have some good content coming out. I've had a large influx in new subscribers as well, too. Our view count is almost, well, it actually is doubled from last month, I think, as of right now. But again, I'm motivated beyond. Maybe I don't seem like it right now, but anybody who knows me in real life or seen me, sourced with me, knows how motivated I get when I see something really cool. But anyway, let's hop back over here. Again, if you haven't hit that like button, please pop that like button for us. Regina, Pick and Lomo style Huffman, how are you doing as well? Mr. Darrow, hey, Carolina Picks, how are you doing this evening? I answered everybody's email in there, and I had a ton of email this time. This is probably the most I've had, and well, I think last week or the week before was the most, and this one's topped it on Patreon. I've answered all the email. I'm going to check the community tab right after the show and finish answering everybody else's last-minute questions. I've been keeping up with it fairly closely these last few days, too. So, again, you will have an updated spreadsheet up there for everybody. Duncan, in general, eBay are giving refunds in record numbers. It's really a very bad practice for items in transit. Yes, that is. The only thing I can say is when those emails come in from eBay telling you, hey, you can do this or do that, I don't even read those. The second the case is open, I do the exact same thing for every single case. I go to the case and I hit respond and I tell them, hey, it's going blah, 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 blah. I'll wait for a response again. Send them something. Get the process starting and give yourself, all you need is time. So I'll respond. That gives me a day for them to respond back and say, hey, if they don't respond back, then I may hold off on opening a case. If it doesn't go on for a few more days and another 48 hours, I'll text them again. Hey, I'm keeping track. If at any point I feel the need to go in, I go to the post office, I open a case, I wait for the email acknowledgement to come in, I copy the case number with the date and show them that I've applied before they ask, and then I pop it into another email straight to that person. And then I wait. And that usually gives me time. I'm able to do that, or, something along that line. The other thing you can do really, really, really quickly is just go to the post office's site straight and check the tracking there. Usually I find on many of these 1, maybe even 2 more tracking notices posted that don't show up on eBay because of the lag time between the post office's system and eBay's system. So again, I had one of the ones today. He said, hey, this wasn't even mailed. And I go, I don't know what you're looking at. I didn't say it like that, of course. And at the end of the day, it's obviously mailed. You can see their acceptance. It's in their hands. And, at this point, I know a lot of the postal packages haven't been scanned on some of these stops. And I had another one that tell me their package was in Hawaii and it went past them, and to explain to them. Again, I've got pre-written stuff for everything. So I can just cut and paste, and if this is happening, I send them this block of text. If this is happening, I send them that block of text. Just write up something and you're done with it. You don't have to deal with it. But anyway, let's see here. Yeah, it is frustrating, though. Definitely. Don't give out the refund until you have to. And in fact, if it's something that's out in the mail, I just let eBay close the case. I'm not going to offer to give them any money back if it's still in transit. If eBay closes it and it shows up, they got to give me my money back. I didn't close it. I didn't authorize that, and the money was still in transit. So, that's how I take it. I know they have doubled the time frame that this all takes now. So instead of 10 days, you've got 20 days. But still, I haven't had to deal with much other than that, honestly. A few cases here. Again, this is nothing compared to what I've dealt with in the retail world, restaurant world. It's nothing. This is a joke. This is a joke. We had vendors ripping us off. I came into Applebee's in Meridian, and the produce vendor we had a contract with them, And for the 3 years before I took over this place, I figured out that they had ripped them off 50 cents for every single box of produce that came into that place for those 3 years. In my first month in the store, they did it as well, until I dug in to figure out why my invoices weren't matching. Diligence, to the time invested, you're going to get ripped off no matter where you're at. For that specific thing, I came into a store that was failing. I wouldn't have got my bonus as it was. I found money that company had to pay me to pay my store, and I made bonus for me and 4 people under me because I was able to hit my cogs for food. And that's just due diligence. Wherever you're at, you're going to have to deal with rip-offs, crime, people robbing you, bad buyers just ripping you off. They're not ripping you off. They're ripping eBay off in their mind. A lot of people think that if you get ripped off, eBay compensates you for that. It's things like that. You know, that's just life. And it's not something that I would ever give up this to go back to working for somebody else to have to still deal with this, plus my bosses, their bosses, bad customers, and just on and on and on and on. It makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. I can't tell you enough how big of a motivational factor that is for me. I wish everybody could experience the crappiness of working for somebody in those types of businesses. I know I've talked to many people who have worked these types of jobs and know exactly what I'm talking about. You know, just FYI. Upstate New York in the house. Well, good evening. Eric Hughes. Thank you. Yeah, let's move past that. Dirt Road Picker got. Travis, how are you doing? Yeah, it was snowing. Let me move down. I know I'm always behind. I'm trying to move back up. Amazon, with Amazon deliveries. Amazon doesn't use the post office mostly. You're mostly using FedEx, UPS. I've got accounts with all those. I use both of those services for almost anything that I ship out on Amazon. You run the risk otherwise not to have Amazon refund your money if it doesn't show up in a certain length of time, even if it's in transit. You have the same problems wherever you're dealing with. It's either that or go work for somebody else, and that's not me. So you know. CJ, how are you doing as well? 3211 and Co. Good evening. Monica Ottaway, how are you doing? Well, good. Welcome for your first time. Good to have you in the house. Oh, where are we at? Texas Hagler, good evening. Gloria Van Tassel, good evening as well. New York. I've spent some time in New York. I was there right after 9/11 to deliver a company van to one of our New York facilities. I did go by World Trade Center, and I did get to see all that too. But one of my 2020 goals, investigate the simple export via pirate ship. Already got the rates unlocked. Yeah, I don't honestly... Again, pirate ship is good for those who include free shipping. I don't worry about it. It's just one more step I don't have to mess with for the most part. Now, sometimes I might run it that way for like a media mail item that's in a category that eBay won't allow. Even though they collect for a media mail shipping, they won't let me ship media mail, even though that's what they collected. I'll use it sometimes for those. But other than that, I don't mess with it because, again, I charge for shipping. For like right now, I think it's 100% of my items have charged shipping on everyone, and I'm not losing any sales. I'm not losing sales on postcards or anything. I know I'll sell a whole bunch more the minute they open up that 75-cent option. Applebee's Attic Treasures there, just FYI. That's my take on that. It's going to be a big, huge plus. I'm going to be able to sell a lot more cheaper items if I want. That will open the gates for a lot of folks who have some cheaper items that are small like that. You'll be able to sell them and still be able to make a profit and include free shipping if that's what your plans are. I'm not going to do free shipping, though, of course. But yeah, it's the same thing, Travis. I'm hoping as well, too. No idea. It's just trading cards as in sports right now. And Barlight Broker, how are you doing? I don't know. I didn't even see notice mention that it would be non-sports trade cards even, which is the exact same thing as a sports card. It should be open to the ACO category as well, too, in my book. Any of those categories are the exact size of a trade card. I've got ACO cards in my own stuff, so it would be nice to see that, too. Cat Lam, how are you doing? Barter Mania, good evening. Houston, NASA, yes. I've worked in Houston for a little while. I've been to Dallas. Hey, Ben Rowe. Yeah, with those stamps, Ben, Yeah, it's a shame. If you could see those in person and you didn't have some crazy price on them at that price, it's just not worth buying. But if I could have got those for $40, I would have bought them, Ben. Just FYI. Seisman Peruta. I'm sure I might have pronounced that wrong. Sorry. Greetings from Liverpool. I have a question. You two had so weak December on eBay. No, my December was the busiest December. It's the busiest month I've ever had in my life, honestly, across any place I've ever done. It was massive. My December was twice what my November was, truthfully. I showed out the numbers, I think, on, I don't know if it was on a video on here, on YouTube, or on Patreon. I think altogether, I think we were counting videos up, and I think I got like 1,500 between Patreon and YouTube, at something in that range. Hey, Jason Blake in the house. Fat Dad's Online Store. First time watching live with you. Well, good to have you in the house. All the way from Scotland. We knew somebody who lived in Scotland. Worked with them at Disney. My wife was a vacation planner with a lady. Very nice, very friendly. Went to dinner with her quite a few times. I have thousands of sports cards to sell, so many. Hopefully they do it then, Gloria. That would be a good plus. Molly Goodenough. Thank you, thank you. Stardust Memories. That's an interesting name. Always reminds me of Glenn Miller with Stardust. Eric Hughes, I have a ton of 50s and 60s baseball card sets. Time to move them out. Set-wise, you're not going to get that option, obviously, 75 cents. But I don't know. I'd almost be tempted to see what you could break a set up for. Again, it's not practical selling it how I do, and I'm not going to list anything below a certain point. You know, you've got to have at least some meat on the bone to make it worth your time to list it to begin with. Now, obviously, scanners alleviate like the majority of the time. You can scan them. You can, drop them on an SD card and take them anywhere you want and all that kind of stuff too. So those kind of things are quick, easy to list. Like if you're listing an upper deck from 99, you list all upper decks from 99 and just change the player's name. Or a grading line or something, and that's about it. Those are the easiest things to list in mass quantity. Duncan, yeah, you're in trouble, Duncan. Definitely so. Mike Calla, over quarter-inch is a package. Yeah, so there you go. It has to fit through the little... I have one of those here, actually. If you go to the post office, you can get a template. I think you still can. You can download and you just cut out that opening, and it's the same opening that they use with that little plastic grid card. In fact, I one time cut out one of those out of a mat, a photo mat, so I could slide them through here, and if it slid through, I knew I was safe. CJ, I'm not sure if you remember me from Philly USPS. Anyway, we are still processing priority mail from December 14th, 15th. Seems to be a bunch of packages backed up starting December 8th. We still have lots and lots. Yeah, I know that for sure. Somebody from the Phoenix, Arizona area sent me a photo, too, the other day, showing me how backed up it is there. And I know Phoenix has been a problem for us, because I get California and stuff, and I got stuff going both ways sometimes from some of the other things we do besides reselling. And in fact, we've got 3D printers running now with stuff, and I've been buying stuff from a couple 3D printer companies in Cali, and they always end up stuck in Phoenix area. Philly, Phoenix, Detroit, and Toledo around here are my biggest four nightmares. Constantly. So anyway, I've got packages, as I said, going to Cali that are sitting in Honolulu right this very second. But anyway, they're just throwing big trams of stuff on, and I know they've changed the routes. I've talked to enough postal people this past little while. Yeah, we just had a package delivered for Christmas presents from father-in-law. I think they mailed it out on the 8th. It showed up today, and it was all destroyed. It was just mangled beyond belief. Bluegrass Pricker, welcome this evening. Yeah, Warrendale is probably where most of mine... That's the hub over there, too. Now, November 5th is missing, and you'll probably have to refund that one, would be my guess, but you never know. Yeah, I've been to a few bluegrass festivals back in Mississippi here and there. Yeah, pickers as in a banjo picker. The bluegrass from the 50s is almost like rockabilly from the 50s. And in the borderline between the two is very, very close. Uh, if A lot of people have the wrong impression on bluegrass, and some bluegrass like really gets down and rocks, I have to say, because I sell bluegrass. You've seen some of the videos. One of the last $50 records that I sold was a bluegrass record from Ohio on a bluegrass. Jarrell is the label name, but it's one of those that you run into. Bluegrass is one of those ones I always look for. If you didn't know that, I talk about it. Lounge and bluegrass are what a lot of people pass on that I don't pass on, because I can spend a quarter, 50 cents, a dollar for a record and get 30, 40 bucks back in profit net after everything's said and done. All the cogs are out. So I worked for IBM for years and went down with the ship. Perfect example. It doesn't matter if it's a Fortune 500 company or what it is. Anybody can have problems. Toys R Us. It's just a perfect example. Having a broad range of stuff, having the opportunities to expand. We're on similar level as, a big company to some extent, depending on what you got and how you sell it, how you market it. But you can rival a big company to some extent in a few items, enough to make you a very good business, at least enough to give you some opportunities to expand your business from there. So, got 212 people in as of right now on my end. If we can get a few more likes, if you're really enjoying the conversation, again, I try to get everything out there. So hit that thumbs up if you are enjoying today's show. I knew it was one of the two. Haha, okay. Eric, working for someone else is never a guaranteed future. That's why I do reselling 100%. Shannon Baldwin, I just want to pay off my mother's debt left after my dad died and pay off my home. Good example. That's a good motivational aspect, to be free and clear and out of debt. Debt on your record is not good, and if you can pay it off, great. Not paying it off and getting behind is going to kill your credit. And then if you want to get business going, you need a business loan or anything business related, you're not going to be able to get it. End of story. I mean, that's the end of the story. I invest all my time into this because, again, we're at a tipping point here. We're like at the top of the roller coaster, and there's still another spot I can go up on the next hill. So, I mean, I'm just waiting to top this and keep rolling down the track, because things just keep going for us with, again, I'm putting in the effort, though. I'm not just waiting for something to happen. I'm going out there and finding it. I'm reaching out to people. I'm expanding my business through my own efforts, not through throwing something up and hoping it goes off well. I want other interactions. You've got to invest time into bringing people to your store, even on eBay to some extent. Now, one thing that I hear people talk about is, well, you get a lot of sales because of YouTube. I don't advertise my store. You can see it in my videos, but I don't think I've ever posted it in almost 3 years on YouTube. I'm not out here trying to get you to buy my items. That's not my goal. My customers are people who are specifically into the collectibles that I sell. I'm not selling clothing or something that the normal person would buy. I'm not out here marketing it. My success doesn't come from me pushing my stuff on YouTube at all. And no, again, I'm not criticizing other people for doing that, but that's not my goal to get money from anybody out there. Again, same reason I don't take promotions. You don't see promoted stuff on my channels. I'm not interested in that. That's not what I want. Money doesn't drive me. And if that's not enough to say that, I don't know what else would be. I'm motivated by success that I earned. Again, I'm not saying people who get promotions and stuff aren't earn it to some extent, but I don't go into that. That's just not me. I'm more motivated by the sheer growth of my company, by me putting in the work. I earned what I got. It's very gratifying. Okay, so you work for somebody else for your life. What is gratifying about a job that you can't get a promotion in, or there's nowhere to go without you moving or doing something else? There's no gratification in there. I've earned every dime I got. So when I go to the store and don't have to ever look at having enough to buy groceries ever again these days, or if I wanted to get a car or something, I just write a check out. That is gratification and a feeling that I've never had until I reselled, till I became a full-time reseller. And again, it's been a lifesaver in my mentality, if nothing else, and my worry over working for other people and stability and all that stuff. Again, I was nervous as can be for 3 years, thinking, how the heck can I ever get this to work? How am I ever going to make enough money to cover the difference I used to make, because I used to make 6 digits, but it's night and day, man. I'm not going back. Anyway, let's go on. I'm going to cut it off in just a little bit here. TikTok. And work for myself. The benefits, the cost savings, your taxes. You can, if you're working out of your house, you can deduct a percentage of your bills. You can, you get so many more benefits having your own company. It's like night and day. There's no difference. And again, I thought it was hard, and I'd have to do this and jump this hurdle and legalities and fees, and it's all, once you've done it for a while, it's like clockwork. It's like I'm on autopilot and all that kind of stuff. I only have to tweak here, or put out a little fire here, or put a little fire there, and the rest of the time I can do however I want to do it. I don't wake up at night worrying about having to go to work and what's going to happen. It's Friday night. Are we going to have violence in the parking lot? Am I going to have an assault in the restaurant? Is a bottle going to be thrown at somebody? I mean, I don't have any of those issues. I don't have to worry about it. It's so relieving. Paying off debt is obviously, of course, a great plan. That doesn't mean that you worried about being rich or anything. You've got goals, whatever your goal is, you know. Ben Rowe still working his way towards self-employment. Again, it's not, don't just quit your day job and think this is just going to be a piece of cake. Anybody doing that is risking their own well-being, quitting your normal job to do reselling for full-time, not knowing all the ins and outs and pitfalls. And there's a lot of pitfalls in doing this. Probably out of, say, 20 or 30 resellers that just start to do this, a couple are going to get themselves in trouble fairly quickly from not understanding a rule, or listing something that gets them dinged, not shipping something quickly enough, not packaging correctly, misidentifying something, bad photos. I mean, it's a learning experience. There's nothing wrong with making any of those mistakes as long as you learn from them and change. Getting mad at eBay and saying, you know, everything's too expensive, there's too many hoops. Man, if you started off on eBay 20 years ago, you would have never started. Anybody complaining about how hard it is to list and all the fee structures now, you'd never get past the first couple days if that's the case, because it took 3 pages to list one single item on eBay. You had to hit next and next, and then finally finalize the page. I mean, it was a long, drawn-out process, and there was a ton of stuff you had to fill in. There were no templates. There was no... If I remember right, there wasn't even a way to sell similar. You had to create a new item from scratch, if I remember right. The first year eBay was eBay, and every one you had to do from scratch. So they've come a heck of a long way in progress. Does eBay have a lot of faults? Of course they do. Anybody who goes back to some of my older videos from a year or two ago, I badmouthed eBay left and right. I had some very choice words to say to them, and I've said them to many execs in person, or not physically in person, but in person on video chats and stuff with execs at their corporate office and stuff. And I lay the blame where the blame is. eBay's messed up a whole bunch of stuff. They're more interested in obviously the funds and the money, just like anybody else's. But you know, if I was running a company like that, I would be more concerned on again, people can say you're just saying that, but I would be more concerned with the mom and pop companies and small families and stuff that are trying to make a living off the platform, to make it a certain sustainable way for them. I mean, but anyway, let's get off that topic. I don't like rambling about eBay too much. I totally agree, because I spent 25 years with a major large company. Everybody knows WM, and after they was done and me and I was making too much, they found a reason to fire me. Yeah, when you hit a certain level, working for an international or even a national company, you're on you're making more than many people. Their goal, and a lot of companies do this, they'll offer you a early retirement. They'll pay off the rest of your pension. When I was at Disney, I literally have a 10-year pension at Disney, and I was getting close to the 10-year mark. We were in like the grandfather clause. When I first signed up for Disney, you could immediately put money into a pension from day one, your first paycheck out, you know, and you join the union and all that kind of stuff. After I joined, you had to be with the company a year, then it took so long and all this other stuff. But I was fully invested and we had a few months left to go, and I wanted to go to college, and I was talking to one of my managers at the time, regional, whatever he was, and he was talking about, well, they're offering this and that for those of you with retirement. So I took a package deal. They paid off my 10-year, and I actually left to go to school full time back then, and then the wife, we had a kid, and we had to quit college. But anyway, the point of it was, that's something a lot of companies do. They'll buy you out too. But anyway. Eric, I have practically zero funds for starting something. Need tips on how to side hustle to build money for bills in my own business. Everybody should start off selling by what you have in your house. My rule of thumb, if I haven't used it in a year and I can't instantly think of some use for it, it's going to get sold. Unless it's like a collectible or something that I collect. Anything I don't want, if I don't think I can make a few bucks on it, we just get rid of it. I've eliminated a lot of stuff in our life that we just don't mess with anymore. I collect buttons and some other things and some toys, as we said, but everything is geared towards that. Sell stuff, old books you have in the house. We sold all of our DVDs that we weren't watching. I got them all burned. I got copies if I want, or whatever the case. I'm not buying them to do that too, so you can sell the originals on eBay and Big Lots, wherever you want to do it. I sell some on Amazon. We're on Gated in Entertainment, so I can sell some vintage and collectibles DVDs and stuff on Amazon there too. But stuff like that. I mean, that's what I would sell first, and that's what we did sell. Kitchen stuff, old, nice pots, pans, gifts you got that you don't like. Local sourcing venues like thrift stores. If you have to start with clothing, start with clothing. Just have a game plan on where you want to go with it. Again, I hated clothing. I didn't want to go anywhere with clothing. So for me, it was a no-starter. After a year or two, I think 3 years, we did clothing or something, but I hated it. Hated. I couldn't wait to get out of that, but... let's see here. Let's go down. We're going to end it in just a few more minutes here. I've been in my current job for the last 28 years. I'm trying to make the leap here. It's a leap, I'm telling you. Again, I've lived on the internet. We cut the cord on the internet on like satellite, normal TV. God, it's probably close to 17, 18 years ago. Everything I do is online and has been for that length of time. I don't do anything in the real world like TV or satellite or cable or nothing. My kids don't even, they don't even remember it, They were 3 or 4, I think, the last time we had something like that. And my oldest one's about ready to graduate with an engineering degree, a chemical engineering degree and stuff. And youngest one's in his second semester at first year in college too. So, anyway. Time frame at a company, though, doesn't promise you anything these days, unfortunately. People say, Richard Johnson, people say eBay is too hard. I have no idea what a truly hard job is. 100% correct. I have done awful jobs. My wife's been sent to the hospital from working at Disney on a couple occasions, had stitches, and I've seen somebody die. I've seen people paralyzed. I've seen customers and... I've seen it all. I've probably seen, and this isn't bragging. That's not something happy to say. I've seen 4 or 5 people die in front of me, but that's a fact. That's a fact. I can give you time, place, date. It's not fictitious. This is my real experiences in life. I've lived all over the country. I've worked in California. I've worked in Denver. In fact, I have a new patron I was talking to in Denver, or that he's from Denver and stuff. I've been all over the place. We worked in Boston for a little while, obviously Ohio. I've worked in Glen Burn and Valdosta, Georgia, all over in Florida, Mississippi. No, I'm missing someplace. Louisville, Kentucky. I was in Louisville for 2 months working even for a little while. Saugus, Massachusetts, as I said up there. I was in Portland. It's all the same, though, you're working for somebody else. You're at their beck and call as a salaried position, as a regional. If I got to fly out and I got to fire a guy in a store, or a regional manager. Let's put it this way. If I got to fire a general manager as a regional manager, I'm running a store until I can replace him most of the time. Or there's a competent enough assistant to take over, which usually there wasn't. It's just the luck of the draw. Let's go down. We'll get to a few more. I'll go for like 5 more minutes here. I know I keep saying that, but I talk so much I guess I shouldn't, but When I worked at Disney in the reservation center in Orlando, 2 of 3 ladies died on the floor taking phone calls. Absolutely true. My deaths at Disney, one of them was when they were building the Tower of Terror. I was there when one of the guys fell off the top and died, plummeted to his death, one of the construction workers. I want to say 2 died that way. And there was another one that died on another attraction. They reported him dead at the hospital. They were never reported dead at the scene. I watched what's it called? Shoot, I can't think of the name of the tech department there. It's at the tip of my tongue. There's a name that we call the tech guys there. It was the department they worked in. But I watched one get his finger cut off on a ride. I watched he jumped into. It was Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. 7-year-old girl, little blonde, cute little girl. She screaming. Her hair, I don't remember what happened. I think she dropped her ponytail and her hair got stuck in a belt or something. Maybe that was Peter Pan's flight. I've seen 2 or 3 really horrific things happen in front of me on rides. But one person, the little girl got her hair stuck in the belt, I think it was. And the maintenance guy went over there he had to cut her hair off. He had to cut her hair before it ripped her scalp off on there. I saw that one. And then one of the funniest ones, but really wasn't very funny. It was funny at the time, but when I thought about it later, it wasn't. Peter Pan's flight. If anybody who's ever been to Disney, I know Marty knows probably what I'm talking about. Peter Pan's flight, when it first goes in, it actually takes off. It's off the ground a little ways. I had somebody running down the belt, and they're moving belts that you get on, and they rushed to get in, and they didn't get all the way in. So as it's going, and again, I'm yelling for the guy over here. I didn't have a stop. The people on the other side where the first, where the assistant people come in, they have an emergency stop. My emergency stop was at the line, so I couldn't immediately stop, and I yelled for the guy. He didn't hear me. He had somebody with him or something. So the Peter Pan's flight car goes around the corner, because as soon as it goes straight and disappears from the sight of people, it turns a corner, and then it's off the ground like 12 feet. And that was one of those issues that it's that kind of crazy stuff I've seen. I've seen it all. I've seen more than I ever care to elaborate on. Even not working for somebody, I was on Highway 50 in Winter Garden, Florida. There's a Taco Bell right near Old Winter Garden Road, I think. No, it was Hiawassee. I'm sure somebody out there is going to know exactly where I'm talking about. It's Hiawassee and Highway 50. There's a Taco Bell out there. And we had just come back from the hospital. My wife was due, and she was due in a few more days, and they were debating on inducing. And I had just coming down, and we were pulling up to the light at Hiawassee. I think it's Hiawassee. And some guy ran in front of my car into the turning lane, and a lady it was a stop, it was a red light. She was going like 50 in that turning lane and clobbered the guy, and he went flying up and landed right next to my door, and his skull was open, blood was spewing all out. My wife, when we got home, we had to run right back to the hospital too, because her water broke. I guess maybe stress, I don't know, but it was I went out, got out of the car, took my shirt off, and I held this guy's skull in place. True story. I swear to you, this is a true story. And I held his skull in place until the paramedics arrived. I had to keep moving because the blood was just, oh my God, I've never, I did not something I wanted to do, but that's life. Anybody complaining about the work on eBay, oh my God, you haven't been in the real world enough, I guess, is the only thing. And again, I'm not trying to insult anybody, but man, I can't be the only one who has all these awful experiences. I just can't imagine that. I mean, I know other people who worked with us at Disney who have similar stories across the board, not just at Disney, but all over the place. But anyway. Yeah, it is out there. It is out there. I don't have to worry about paying my bills through eBay. I work part-time doing payroll for my fiance's company, but I like to help pay the bills as well, which eBay helps do. Yes, definitely so. Definitely so. I really enjoy reselling. It's not a bad chore for me. It's hard work, but you see the growth of all your hard work. That's the gratification. I don't get any gratification running a restaurant for somebody because it's the same thing every week. What's my gratification? I can only take it so far. Once you're at full capacity from day till night on a store, what can you do? You can't improve that. You can cut the labor a little bit, maybe you can cut your food costs a hair, but you're never going to make any more money from that. There's no motivation to improve it. You want to be a regional. There's only so many regionals in the company. That would be your next step up. Whether it's a restaurant, whether it's retail establishment, regional is your only next step up if you're a general manager. And then you just more headaches for just a little more pay. The bonuses work better, but the end of the day is this is a gratifying job, and that's motivation to me. I've got a vision. I know where I want to go with this. I don't want to do anything else. I know that looking at what other people have done and looking how big I can get just by putting in some more effort, that's all I needed to keep pushing this. Again, I don't watch TV. If you don't waste your time doing stuff that's not productive, you can get it going a little quicker. You can get things going a little better. Again, it doesn't mean you don't watch anything. It's just my take on it. I don't worry about it anymore. What do I get out of it? I don't watch most of the reality shows. I don't watch any of the competition. I've never watched the singing shows or any of that kind of stuff anyway. Shark Tank is the one show that I was watching that I just gave up because it got to be cookie cutter for a bunch of them. I like the whole idea of it, but I don't care anymore about anything else other than the family and getting the business going. I am totally addicted to doing this whole reselling. I am truthfully, if there was an addiction I would have, it's to reselling, because I can't go anywhere without thinking how much profit I can make from whatever's sitting on a shelf. I can't do it. It drives the wife crazy sometimes when we're at the mall trying to have fun and I'm sitting here buying stuff at what's the shop? Lunchbox, I think, is where we bought stuff last time. And what did I do? I made money. I made 300 some odd bucks from Lunchbox in the mall. I wasn't out looking for that. We were buying shirts for the kids for school last year, and that was it. The money's out there. The time's out there. I'm motivated. You've got to be motivated about something. You want an easier life. You're going to work towards it. That should be your motivation. This will be the last conversation. I'll end it here on this one here. The gratification is more than enough thank you to myself for all the hard work I did. The fact that my bank account is steadily going up a lot, not a little bit. It's not trickling in. It's exponentially raising because I keep growing it every single chance I get. I'm sorry, but if you want money, you should be motivated by your efforts into it and watching the money come back out of it. Who cares? I spend 13.5%, 14%, or whatever eBay's fees is on a category. I'm paying nothing for the items. So maybe at the end of the day, I have 15% invested into it. 15%. I sell it for $100 with eBay and that. I'm out 15% of it. I usually make 80% take home net after all the cogs are said and done on the majority of my items on average. Obviously not every item, but it's taken time. But again, the investment in time is there because I'm so motivated. Anybody I know, they think I'm a workaholic, but I'm so into this that it's made my life. It's made my life. It's changed my life for my wife, my kids, every aspect of what I do. I'd never think I'd have some of the equipment and the things I got here. Again, I don't invest in my personal stuff. I don't go out and spend the money. I spend it in my business. I don't go out and, no, I made $1,000 this week. I'm going to go out and spend $300 on clothing. I'm going to invest that $300 into more merchandise. Next week, I might have $500 to reinvest then. You build it up. If you're going to give up for mail reasons, or the post office is running behind, or you get a roadblock, or eBay's fees raise $1, you're in the wrong business. Give up and be done with it then. Work for somebody else and let them tell you what you can do, when you can go to the bathroom, how much money you're going to make, where you'll go with it, what your life will be, or whether you even have a job. This is the only thing I can guarantee that I can do myself that they can't take away. They'd have to take away too much now. Less than half of my business is on eBay. They'd have to take away all kinds of stuff for me to be shut down. And it's that's the effort that you got to put in to get this. Don't just put all your eggs in one basket. Don't just think eBay's the answer for everything. eBay's the start. eBay's the reason. eBay's great. I wouldn't give up eBay, but again, you've got to have goals, a vision, and the motivation to get you there. 100,000, my word, 100,000 listings is what I'm going for. Good, bad, or indifferent. Will I make it? I don't know. But I'm trying, and that's the goal, to try and do something, to be motivated, to set yourself a goal. Maybe you have a goal of hitting 5,000 listings. Maybe you have a goal of hitting 10,000 listings. As long as they're good items, it doesn't matter. Just roll with it if you're not paying extra. Who cares how long the items are up? Build yourself, if you want to do what I do, build yourself long tail inventory, a larger and larger amount of inventory. Again, the store I share with you has $850,000 worth of merchandise. I have $2.5 million that hasn't been listed. I didn't pay any of that amount for it. I have pennies into this stuff. This is what happens when your stuff starts to snowball and you keep getting more and more stuff in. You roll it all over. You don't splurge. Who cares if you got a new car? Who cares what somebody thinks about what your car looks like or this or that? If you want to grow, you want to be successful, worry about the business. Don't worry about the other aspects. Family and business, family and business. That's my only factors here in doing this. I don't care about anything else. I mean, don't get me wrong, not like that, but this is what's important to me. This is where my time goes. This is what I'm going to get out of it. I've gotten a return out of my investment. You know, I'm not making up my sales. You see what I sell. I sell junk. I sell stuff that people think, oh, there's no way you're making money doing that. You know, the stuff I sell is small. It's easy. Everything about it is it's a joke for a lot of people. They don't see this seriously. Volume pays the day. Volume rules the day. Long tail wise, you know, there's 100 different plans out there. There's 1,000 different plans to do something. If you want to do what I do, you don't have to. You can do whatever you want, but you've got to build up this. It's going to take you time, 3+ years just to get out of living sale to sale, you know. But we paid our bills. I bit the bullet. I did what I had to do. The kids ate. If I didn't get to eat something or had something very minimal, that's what I did. That's what I did. That's the responsibility as a dad, as a person. Family first. I come last. That's just the way it is in my book. It's how I was raised. You know, I'm not selfish. I don't care if I have this or that. If I wear jeans with holes in it because I can't afford them, that's so be it. Who cares? Who cares? You're bettering yourself. Who cares what somebody says? Who cares what somebody thinks about it? Who cares about any of that? I don't care if there's rust or something on a vehicle or something. I can go to the bank and get a bank check drawn from my bank to buy a vehicle. Who cares? I'm not interested in that. You know, a vehicle doesn't impress me. A house, a mansion doesn't impress me. I don't care. Most people that I know who have stuff like that are leveraged so bad. They've got debt beyond belief. Not having debt's like the perfect thing. I can get debt if I need it. You know, in some cases, having debt is good, but not in stuff like that. But we're going to end it. I know I'm rambling now, but hopefully the rambling gave you at least some motivation to get into this. This is a life changer for us. I'm not spewing something to get you to buy something from me. I'm not saying this for you to sign up for some course. I don't have a course. I got Patreon. That's all I got. And it's mostly videos and I answer questions. Not trying to be rich. I'm not promoting my items to you. My efforts pay off for my business, and this is what I do. I am a reseller. I'm not a YouTuber. I know I got a lot of subs these days and stuff, and I do a lot of videos. I like talking about it. I'm so passionate about what I do. This is my life, my time, my day, everything else. So anyway, I'm going to let it go at that. I know I'm rambling, as I said. I do honestly and sincerely appreciate everybody coming on. I think we had 223 people on at one time, 110 likes. I do appreciate everybody for the support. You know, hang on here. I got to click on one little button here real quick. It's not an easy job. Nobody's going to give you anything. And that's how life is. Whether you work for somebody or you work for yourself, your efforts are the only way you're going to succeed. And I can't express it enough. There's no guarantees in life. There's no guarantees in reselling. If you really want it, you really, really want it, you can get it. There's no reason anybody else out there can't do this. There's no reason. There is no. I don't care where you live. I've been all over this country, from one end, East Coast to West Coast, North to South, and I've been able to do the same thing every single place I've been at. I might have found different things, but it's the same basic principle, the same business. Location isn't. Obviously, there's regional stuff, but I've been able to get it everywhere I go. But hopefully that's some thoughts, some idea. Again, ramblings today. I've just been so into this. I've got a million thoughts running through my head. I wish you guys, one of these days I'll show Patreon some of my notebooks. I've been writing down, my God, so many ideas and things. It's more open now than any time I could ever imagine, the opportunities. and they just keep expanding for online people. I can't express it enough. But thank you all sincerely for coming on. This is going to be probably the best year for us. The pandemic will away hopefully shortly in a few more months. Life will be back to normal. We will be out in the real world. We'll be having fun. We'll be doing the normal things again. Things will change. This coming up fourth quarter will probably whomp this year's, even though this was the best one I've ever seen. You've got so much to look forward to in reselling. There are many, many, many opportunities growing. So, once this all opens back up, it's back to, all hands on deck. So anyway, thank you all for coming on, and I hope you all have a good evening.